I have a sister who's much older than me, and when she was at school, her friend, whose mother worked in a shoe shop, told her this story. And a very sort of snooty city gent walked in one day, and very arrogant and was very sort of offish to people. And every time he finished a sentence, he farted, you see. So he walked in and said, I say, you're serving in here? And the woman said, yes, yes. Well, I want a pair of shoes, please. Yes, I want a pair of shoes like the ones in the window. Oh, okay. What size? He said, size 10. So she said, oh, okay, righto. So, what colour? Black. So she gets the shoes out, puts them on. She helps him to put the shoes on. And he gets up and walks along the shoe shop to try them out. And as he's walking along, and he sits down. And right, okay, I'll take this pair. You stupid woman, you haven't told me how much they are. So she said, well, I didn't tell you in case you shit yourself. What happened there? It's all sort of double and treble checked over itself. And it's spelt again from my throat. It's all sort of double and treble checked over itself. Hang on, it's spelt again.
What's going on, mate? You've got a loop.
Double and treble checked over itself. Hang on, it's spelt again.
What's going on, mate? You've got a loop.
Double and treble checked over itself. Hang on, it's spelt again.
What's going on, mate? You've got a loop. I daren't speak. What's going on, mate? You've got a loop. Daren't speak. What's going on, mate? You've got a loop. Daren't speak.
We'll log off and log back on again. I don't know what's going on.
Like a plan.
We'll log off and log back on again. I don't know what's going on.
Right, I'm going, mate.
Right, we're back again. I found out what the problem was. It double looped on itself.
It was interesting.
That was very interesting. Sorry, everybody. I don't know what it was. I know exactly what it was. I actually left it on another browser on YouTube. So you're getting YouTube and
Brilliant.
the other one.
That was clever.
Yeah, so it balls the gag up, but do you want to hear the gag properly?
Yeah, before you do.
Yeah.
He wants to say hello.
Hello. Oh,
we've
got our artistic strop, have we? Now, who's this?
Yeah, he's all right tonight. He's
really?
Yeah, he was in a bit of a rum old mood the other night when we were on, but he seems pretty cool tonight. So he said hello.
Was it a full moon? Might have been.
It might have been. Definitely, mate. If we're how much percent water, like they say we are, then
80%. I think 70 to 80%,
something like that. Then there's something in that, surely.
So now he is. Hang on.
Sorry, your ruined joke.
Don't worry. You're Chris, and your theatrical agent is Benson. No. The name of your dog?
Barkley.
Bartley. That's who it
Sorry.
is. It's Bartley. So I've got a terrible name mentioned. I'm getting my worms in a bucking fuddle now.
Yeah,
I've
you
got
are.
a terrible memory for names. So anyway, shall we go through that gag again?
I think you better.
Yeah, it was really ballsed up. You'll probably see us on either side of it having a laugh, but it might be a true story. Make up your own mind. So here it goes again. I have a sister who's much older than me, and when she was at school, her friend, whose mother worked in a shoe shop, told her this story. And a very sort of snooty city gent walked in one day, and very arrogant and was very sort of offish to people. And every time he finished a sentence, he farted, you see. So he walked in and said, I say, you're serving in here? And the woman said, yes. Well, I want a pair of shoes, please. Yes, I want a pair of shoes like the ones in the window. Oh, okay. What size? He said, size 10. So she said, oh, okay, righto. So, what colour? Black. So she gets the shoes out, puts them on. She helps him to put the shoes on, and he gets up and walks along the shoe shop to try them out. And as he's walking along, and he sits down, and right, okay, I'll take this pair. You stupid woman, you haven't told me how much they are. So she said, well, I didn't tell you in case you shit yourself. Disgusting, isn't it?
You're really a chap, aren't you? You really are.
You've got to start with a fart gag, haven't you? I mean, let's face it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I have, yeah. But anyway, we're going to be talking about tits tonight. We're going to be talking about other things as well.
Long tail.
Well, we're going to be talking about tits in cold weather. Blue tits, to be precise, you see. And I know that we've had a lot of people worried about their blue tits, and I've got a resolution to help their blue tits, you see. And where is it? It's coming along any minute now. Here it is. And it's a DIY bird feeder.
That's pretty cool, that is, isn't it?
If you've got an old cup, something your granny gave you or something like that, and you're going to chuck it out, well, why not get some fat? It doesn't matter what it is. I got vegetable fat, and it was about a couple of months out of date. So I thought, the birds are not going to worry about that. Then put a load of bird feed in, heat it up on a stove in an old pot. Don't do it in a new one. And then put some bird seed in there, bird food, wild bird food, in with the fat, and then pour it into an old cup, and then hang it by a cup hook on the side of anything, a fence or anywhere. Then stick a bit of bamboo cane or anything you can find in there to act as a perch. And there you are, your blue tits and robins and God knows what. I'll be really happy with that. How's that?
I'm impressed with your ingenuity as usual. Yeah, it's good.
And, why throw an old cup out? I mean, that cup at the bottom, I think it must be about 100 years old, because I inherited it from my mother, and my mother inherited it from her mother. So I don't know, it must have been bought in the 20s or 30s. It's been sort of sat around doing nothing. I thought it might as well be sitting around doing something. The one at the top,
nearly as old as you, isn't it?
It's almost as old as me. I think. I mean, it's a shame about Queen Victoria dying. And I mean, I remember a funeral. It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. Been terrible for you, Chris.
I know. I'm still getting over the Titanic. Shut that out. I mean, still reading it in the newspapers. Last time I went to the dentist, it was on their newspapers when I was reading it.
There's a lot out there, isn't there, that isn't right. That was nothing like what we think it was, or what we probably don't think it was.
John Hamer, I did a show with him, and I did a show with him earlier. No, hang on, it's Monday today. Must have been Thursday.
Right.
And it's going to go on BitChute because it's not suitable for YouTube. And yours truly has got to do the editing. So watch my BitChute channel. It's going to go on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. So
Right.
it's about electric cars. So
You've
that's going to be...
Mate, you were talking about that one a few months ago, weren't you? So I'm glad you've got that up. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
I hope you've called it what you said you were going to call it.
What, electric noddy cars?
No.
Can't remember.
The external combustion engine. That's
yes, external combustion engine. Yeah, that wasn't my idea. It was somebody else's.
I know, but that's what you've got to call that. If you're going to do a thing on electric cars, it should be called the external combustion engine.
I'm going to write that down. External
I love it. The randomness of your podcast is beautiful. I love it.
Well, we're going to be covering, hopefully tonight, Edgar Casey. Also, self-help books. Good self-help book coming up, you see. And also Tesla's talking to the dead machine. And also Koyrev's mirrors. That's another subject we'll be talking about. But first of all, I've got a big thank you going out. It's a thank you to Caroline or Carolyn. Thank you, Carolyn. She kindly made a dedication, or not dedication, a contribution by buying me some coffees.
That's very generous.
That's very generous of her. And there's something gone wrong because I tried to send, because it comes through Buy Me a Coffee, and I thanked her on the Buy Me a Coffee website, but I can't get it back via her email. For some unknown reason, it went to Lally. So I hope she doesn't think I haven't. As I say, I said thank you very much on the Buy Me a Coffee website, but I can't seem to do it on your email. So I hope it did email through. I don't know whether
you've done it even better now, mate. Done it on a live stream.
So thanks, Caroline. Very, very kind of you. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. And the other thing is that I've also made a bit of a technical breakthrough, I think. Then that you know that there's a radio show on the boil, and we're hoping to have a phone in on it.
That'd be awesome.
And I think I made a software breakthrough. We're going to test it out soon, and the show will be on Rumble, so we'll be able to say naughty things on there we're not allowed to say on YouTube. So that's coming on soon. So there's quite a lot going on behind the scenes. So
I'd better open a Rumble account, better I?
That would be a good idea. Yes, I think in a moment. I think it's one bloke and his dog watching it. It might be Barney watching it on the side.
Been on Rumble, mate. Never indulged myself in it.
I managed
to find most of what I want on BitChute. So, and you know, I've been on Odyssey a few times. I mean, back because before it was Odyssey as well, when it was Library.
Yes, but you can't go live on BitChute. That's the problem. And with Rumble, because the radio show is going to be live.
Yeah. No, I get it. I just, I like I say, I shall have to open an account and go and have a look.
Well, that's it. And now, first of all, we're going to talk about. Have you ever heard of Edgar Casey?
I hadn't until this morning, mate, when you mentioned him. Can we point out as well that I'm wearing the number 12 shirt today?
And the number 12 shirt?
Substitute, mate. I'm a substitute, aren't I? I'm off
the bench. Substitute?
I'm off the bench, aren't I? I'm a late addition, as such.
Oh yes, because we're due to have other people on the show, but
So if anybody thinks I'm woefully unprepared or anything, I didn't have much notice. So there you go.
Oh,
are you there?
Hang on. Your Wi-Fi's gone a bit funny.
Has it? What's going on, mate? Because it's. Can you see me or not? Do you think the CIA are looking into this or the Possibly,
YouTube?
Mate. We're not having a lot of luck. Is it all right now?
Right. Shall we start again?
Do you want me to go leave and come back in?
No, I think it's all right now. I think it's
all right.
Yeah, I think it's all right now. Yeah, it just went.
Oh, right. I don't know what happened there, mate. It's showing 3 bars or whatever. So
something technical weird going on tonight, but I know that yes, what happened? We had a show set up with somebody else, and we're going to have a sort of like a talk about different subjects. And unfortunately, the other person had to cancel at a late stage. And then there was a substitute that had to cancel at a late stage.
You lucky people, hey?
And Chris kindly volunteered to step in, so it's very, very kind. Otherwise, you just have been going, yes.
Mate, you've done some good solo ones before. You've done some good solo ones, so yeah, I'm sure.
Should we have a look at chat? There's millions of people. Well, slight exaggeration. I would say millions. Millions in chat, billions in fact. 33 to be precise. Right, I've been a bit of a giggly mood tonight, so you know, when you start with a fart joke, you know, I
was just about to say,
evening, Eric,
you did it to yourself with a fart joke. Evening, Ralph. Evening, Cat.
Right. Evening, Cat. Hello, Cat. And
lovely comment you put on last week's podcast as well,
yes.
Cat. Very nice, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, that's nice. That's very
Hello,
kind.
Louise.
Then we've got hang on. There we go. Oh, hang on. It's going a bit funny again. There we are. Louise. Evening, Chris, and all in chat, sending out lots of love. And you could stand on your roof doing semaphore to Louise because she lives so close, couldn't she? So good evening, you know.
And then we got no semaphore, mate. Hello,
Stig in New Zealand. Hello, Stig in New Zealand. Good morning. There we are. We got Pandora.
Hello, Pan.
Hang on. We should have. Pandora Chaser 2. Evening to Chris, Eric and Chris. That's very kind. And let's have a quick look down. And oh, here we are. We're talking about here. Yeah, make your own suet for birds, etc. Yeah, you can use any sort of fat. It doesn't matter, really. Birds, they're not too choosy, you know. I mean, I had some old store of vegetable fat that had been in my fridge for God knows how long, and it had expired a hell of a long time ago. And it was all right. I mean, it's been in the fridge. I mean, choosy. I think one's complaining on the health and safety reasons, but you know, that's bloody crows for you, isn't it? They're like that. Yes. Right, it says reuse the coconut shell ones too. You could even put shroom substitute and grain
substrate, not substitute.
A substrate. Sorry, I'm a bit dyslexic there. Yeah, and grain spawn in them to grow a snack at home. That's interesting.
Only you would come up with that, Pam. That's quite ingenious.
Yes. And we've got Ancient Ruby. Good evening, everyone. Ruby. Hope you are all well. Yes, and I don't think we've got anybody Tom and Dick, apart from me, slightly mentally Tom and Dick. But I mean,
no change.
Right. No change. No. Cat Ollie says, "Is it squirrel proof?" I am wondering. The bird feeder I use for nuts always attracts squirrels too. Lovely as they are. Well, my squirrels have been playing with their nuts.
Sorry, Chris. Oh, just let me give this to my wife.
Okay. Everything's going on tonight, isn't it?
Right, mate. Didn't think that one through, did I?
Never mind.
It was on the table, mate. Sorry.
That's all now. My one's might go off in a minute. You never know. I haven't turned it off. Now it's just
that was the landline, mate. That wasn't a mobile. That was the landline.
I didn't know you had funny tunes on your landline. You know,
you can do. You can have all sorts on that one. So yeah.
Well, by the way, people are asking about this. It's not a cravat. It's a shamag. It's a Palestinian one, to be precise. But so because I wrap it around my neck because my neck gets a bit cold. Anyway,
makes it look like a Spitfire pilot.
Hello, chaps. What
tell you
how? As I was saying before the show, I think the smartest and the most cool were the Luftwaffe pilots. I mean, they were bloody cool.
Say that. Controversially, you did say that.
Controversially. What would I choose if it was a Spitfire or Focke-Wulf? I think Focke-Wulf.
You'd go with the 190, wouldn't you? Yeah.
The 190. That's the one, you know. But, right, Edgar was an American clairvoyant. Yes, he was.
There you go.
That was it. Can see, Ed, hear you both fine. Thank you very much.
That's good. Thanks, Kat.
I know what the problem was. The problem was me, because I left it on another browser. That's why you got the echo, because it started on YouTube a few seconds behind StreamYard. So I did twice.
It does.
Completely balls the joke up at the beginning as well. Right. That says here, both your mic levels are very low. Any way to increase them and balance them, Eric? Thank you for telling me. Let's have a quick
leave
look.
That with you, Chris. Just a second, mate. I've got a door to close.
Right. I've actually put the microphone a little bit close, so that might be okay. Is that better? I hope so, because Eric, I think that's a bit better. Now, it says here, bet Chris feels really special now. Laugh out loud.
I get what you're saying, Kat. Yeah. Like third on the list or something like that. Yeah.
Quality, not quantity, old chap.
Hello, Paul.
Got Dan MC. Evening, Dan. Evening, all.
Hello, Dan.
And we've got, we've got Urban Fox. Hi,
Hello,
Chris,
Wayne.
and Chris and everybody watching. Hello, Wayne. How's things? All right? Hope you're okay. And Aunt Sally.
Hello, Sally.
Evening, folks. Just jumping in the bath. Blimey, I didn't know I made people like that. Sort of, but listening on my phone, I see. And I wouldn't advise putting your electric heater on whilst in the bath. But
do you remember them old ones people used to have above the baths? The ones on the mounted on the walls. My nan used to have one. You used to put it on. You used to have to pull the cord and put it on about half an hour before you got in the bath. And then if you were lucky, it might warm the bathroom up by about 3 degrees by the time you got out of the bath.
That's it. Yes. I remember. And do you remember those ones that used to kill people? The gas boiler things that used to turn on, and it used to let out carbon monoxide, and you used to get carbon monoxide poisoning. Right. Lots of people were found dead in the bath like this. Because, and marvelous way of lowering the population, better than but I'm being sarcastic there. I think Chris is trying to look posh tonight.
Just trying to outdo me, isn't he?
Well, I'm just trying to look a fart smeller. Sorry, a smart fella.
You're very dapper, mate.
Thank you.
Hello,
Stephen. Hello, Steve. And we'll come back to chat in a moment.
That's a good viewing, isn't there?
That was a heck of a lot. It was very good. And now we're going to talk about Edgar Casey, and how I like him. I think he's a genuine bloke because he never used to charge for his consultations at all, and that to me is a genuine person. And
mate, that doesn't it?
Well, that's it. And apparently he used to be able to cure people. He wasn't a doctor, wasn't at any training or anything like that. But when he was a child, his father got angry with him, knocked him down, and he saw like an angel type character who he had previously met when walking in the woods, who gave him advice, and he predicted a hell of a lot of things that turned out to be correct. And I know that a lot of these people did predictions, once years ago, when they used to say, I see a great flood and great fire, and it could be interpreted any way you want. But Edgar Casey was very, very accurate, and he said that the Earth's magnetic field would change in 1998. Well, in 1998, NASA discovered that the Earth's magnetic field are actually beginning to flip a bit, but it's going to take apparently a couple of thousand years time. So unless I'm around,
a couple of thousand years, Chris, has that come from NASA?
It's probably bullshit from NASA. Yes.
Yeah. You see, if it's something NASA have said, I'm going to struggle with it, mate.
Yes, I agree with you. I think NASA was it never a straight answer, isn't it?
Never a straight answer. Yeah.
or National Association of Space Actors.
Yeah, or there was the one after Cape Canaveral, which was need another 7 astronauts, I think.
Yes, yes. And
but that again, that is like, I know this is we're off here, but that's interesting, that as well, that whole Columbia thing, because there's pictures of the 7 people that were on the shuttle, like, and they appear to be like 20-30 years older, and they've got different jobs, and some of them have even kept the same names. I don't trust that. But again, it came from NASA.
John did an exposure. John Hamer did an exposure. If you look back on my
let's have a look.
He's done one on that. He's done one on Titanic, on all kinds of things like that.
Right.
And he's done one on Jack the Ripper as well, which was one of the highest audience figures I think I've ever had.
Well, so wasn't a lot of people link that to somebody in aristocracy or the royal family or something, don't they? And
well, yes, there is links. It's best to see the show, but
I'll have a look.
But Prince Eddie is involved, and possibly, even though she wasn't born, the late Queen Mother. Now you think tie up with her? It's a tie-up with the late Queen Mother,
right?
And obviously, she wasn't born at the time of the Jack the Ripper, because I think she was born about 1900, and Jack the Ripper was about 1880s. But he links it all up, and putting it. I don't want to ruin it for you, but if you look back, about 20 years ago, he tied it up to Freemasonry.
Right. What a shock.
And isn't that a surprise? Slap my thigh,
Yeah.
Makes you want to shake your hand with shock, doesn't it? But but that's basically what it was tied up with. But
anyway, back to your man. Yes.
Back to by the way, we've got somebody from USA in here.
Who have we got?
We've got Mark 10. Hello, Mark. Hello. From USA. What part of USA? Are you in the north, the south, Texas?
We had one from West Virginia before, didn't we?
West Virginia. Oh, and also, where's the other one? We had the fighter pilot, the ex-fighter pilot that was in.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. God, I can't remember his name, but yeah, I remember the chap.
Yes. Yes. What was his name now? I can't think of his name.
Mark's in Tennessee.
Tennessee. That's very nice. Tennessee.
Mark.
And us Brits cannot take off an American accent, i.e. Michael Caine inside a House Rules. I think that the worst American accent that's ever been is Michael Caine, a Cockney, trying to take off.
Doesn't Michael Caine just play Michael Caine in every film that he's in, pretty much?
That's right. Oh, Michael Caine,
yeah.
And Bob Hoskins, he did the worst American accent, I think, of the lot. He was suffering from what they call it now, irritable bowel syndrome, I think.
Unlucky, mate. Sympathise.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Nothing like irritable bowel syndrome.
Oh, sorry, mate. I thought you said
irritable bowel syndrome. Because you're sort of Cockney trying to speak with an American accent, and it sort of came out quite like this, And Americans are probably thinking, "What the bloody hell is he talking about?" It's a bit like "Hello, Hello." That comedy with the trying to speak French. Good morning.
I remember.
Your dear.
Yes, I remember it well.
She's just pissed out.
That's right.
But anyway, back to Edgar Casey.
Yes.
He was, I think, he was a genuine good man, but you don't see any monuments to him or anything like that. He was genuine because it wasn't all that. It wasn't all the money. He gave over, and he actually helped a lot of people. So, and I think that's what you call genuine kindness. And I'm getting more into him. But the point I'm going to get at is that I actually do believe that being psychic is linked with trauma. It sounds a little weird. Now, my dad, he was very psychic. He tried to hide. sort of play it down a bit, because he was into numerology in quite a big way. Right. But he used to, now he had extreme trauma during World War II. And he used to, for example, his car got smashed in a car park once. And that night he went to bed and he knew exactly what car had done it. He'd seen it in a dream. He saw it it was that brown car that turned around. He went straight into the back of me and all that. He actually saw it. Now, I've recently got myself an earthing sheet, and two very weird, well, not very weird, but two things happen when you get an earthing sheet that I found personally happened to me. One, you go into a very deep sleep. And the second thing is you get really clear dreams that are so realistic. They're sort of, and I had one the other night, which was really realistic. And it was almost in Technicolor, and it was very brief. And normally dreams are gobbledygoof, aren't they? You'd think, what the bloody hell was all that about? You know, but this wasn't. And I was looking up at the sky, beautiful blue sky, and I could see these Russian bombers. You know those big 4-engine jobbies that they use to sort of
the
Tupolev something.
Yeah,
things they are. And I could see all the bombs underneath. I could see the red star at the back. I could see in great detail. And there's a blue sky, and they're coming on, and there's jet planes either side. You know, and I was looking at, and they all had the stars on. And somebody said, "Don't worry, they're on our side now." And I woke up. Isn't that weird?
But what you say about the earthen blanket, and that makes, I think, sense. My experience as an alcoholic, as somebody who used a lot of drugs when they were younger, for years I didn't have dreams. I just didn't have dreams that I remembered at all. And that, again, was obviously the state of mind that I was in. I wasn't in a very well balanced state, and I certainly wasn't at one with nature or leading a good, fruitful life. And it was years and years after, though. It took years after I stopped doing those things until I started to dream again. But like you, if I have a dream now, it's normally really vivid and feels real. And you know, I've woken up in a state a few times thinking, wait, is that, you know, and then you realize it was a dream. But yeah, I think that blanket makes sense.
Well, it does. I mean, since I've had it, I mean, I haven't got shares in it or anything like that. But if you look on eBay, you can get them a lot cheaper, because they can get, but you see them for about 200 quid. There's no way I'm lashing at that sort of dosh. I paid about 30 for mine, and you get mine off eBay. But you got to be careful. My one is a silver type one, and it's got a special plug. So, and it goes from, as I say, from earth. It earths you. It does make a difference. It really does, and it's not psychosomatic. You wake up feeling very different. You wake up feeling better. And I swear by earthing blankets. I like being earthed now. But it's a very odd thing. I mean, these dreams are so, and lots of people apparently have claimed that they do have these very vivid, very logical dreams. But back to trauma.
Yeah, there's something in the dream thing, definitely. And just quickly, while you're talking about blankets and things like that, don't you think I mean, this happened in your lifetime and in my lifetime. When I was a little kid, nobody had duvets. It was cotton sheets and woolen blankets. That's what I had on my bed for the first 4 or 5 years of my life. And duvets came in, and they were synthetic made. The duvets are made of synthetic materials, and the duvet cases are made out of polyester and crap like that. I wonder how much that has played into people's sleep being affected, my friend, because that was like, I mean, everybody, literally, apart from people like my nan and my granddad, old people at the time, but anyone under the age of 50 got rid of all their shit blankets and had duvets. And that happened in about probably 2 or 3 years.
That's right. And they were polyester things. I mean, mine was a feather one. The trouble is, see, what I do is every year I take it down to the is too big to go in my washing machine, take it down to the laundrette and wash it in there, and then bring it back again. It costs about £4 or £5, and you got as good as new, because the feathers do, well, they will be a bit mingy after about a year.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've found anti-allergenic things are not what they're cracked up to be, because I had a pillow that was one of these memory pillows. Never had one of those. It's like sleeping on, a bag of concrete that's soft.
Yeah, not slept
it's like that, and you can't wash it, and you get all like fungus on it. It's horrible. I chucked it.
Lovely, yeah.
It's awful. But what I was going to say is that there seems to be two types of trauma: long-term trauma and short-term trauma. Now, short-term trauma is something that happens out the blue, like an accident or something like that. That's boom, and it's over with. But then you have long-term trauma, which could be abuse, not necessarily sexual abuse. It could be mental abuse. And that long-term trauma, I think, makes people more psychic. I just wonder what your feelings are on it, Chris, because I think you're psychic. I really do think you're psychic.
I've had a lot of trauma. I know that. And I know that I'm good at reading people. I'm quite on the nail when I meet someone the first time. I can normally, I get a vibration off people. I really do. I can feel their energy, and I'm quite good at picking out, people that my wife's known and she's introduced me to, and I've recoiled almost and said to my wife, I don't like, and oh no, she's lovely, and it might take a couple of years, but then, I mean, this happened with one lady she used to work with, a Christian lady, funnily enough. Everybody thought she was marvelous, but
no, hang on, there's a difference between people that are spiritual and religious and don't preach, which I admire. I've got a lot of admiration for them, and then the born again type that keep telling you how good they are. They're the ones I can't stand.
This is somebody who, if she sent a text message to my wife, there would be kisses after every 2 or 3 words in the message, in the sentence, splitting up the sentence. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. Psychic, I don't know, mate. I'm still very much on my journey, my friend. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm still very much a work in progress. So
but we all are. That's what life's journey is about. Because I think that it's interesting what you said about recoiling, because I actually I don't want to give too much away here because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I met somebody the other week that no, I won't say too much, but I met somebody the other week, and I could feel this negative aura around this person.
Yeah.
And I jumped back, and it was very noticeable. This sort of because there was something that didn't quite add up with that person. It's very, very odd, and I tend to sense things. And the big problem is we lie to ourselves because you override those senses.
Yeah, you override your gut, don't you? You shouldn't ever do that, mate. If your gut's telling you something's wrong, and your gut is always right. I've overridden my gut many times, and it's never worked out well. Never. So I go with my gut's telling me now, and I listen to it. If it tells me something's not right, then I don't. Mate, is the sound all right? Can anyone on the chat tell us if the sound's good?
Everybody okay?
I'm getting a bit of feedback my end, but I don't know whether that's Phil.
I can adjust the microphone. Let's have a quick look. I'll go into settings and let's have a look. Audio.
Every time I try and change something, I end up just like closing the screen down on the tablet. I don't now. Once I've got going, I don't touch anything, mate, because if I do, I have technical problems.
Right. Let's have a look. Now, how's this? Is this better?
That sounds better to me. Oh, right. Maybe not. It's got an echo on it now, mate.
Right. Okay. Let's do it this way.
A little feedback until Chris had a fiddle.
Right. How about this? Is this better?
I think
I've adjusted the volume slightly. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm going to adjust the volume down a bit, and I'll put. Right. How's that? Is that better?
You're still getting a bit of an echo from me, mate.
Right. Okay. I'm going to echo cancellation. How's that?
That sounds 100 times better.
Right. Okay. I think it's a bit real there. Is everybody? Let's have a quick look in chat. Is everybody? Can people? Now, Chris, you've gone quiet. Yeah, I'm normally a bit like that. A little feedback until Chris had a fiddle.
Yes, I think it's all right now, mate. I think you've cracked it.
I think I'm fiddling with my bits here, and you know, and
yeah, better. Yeah, everyone's. So, yeah, you don't leave your bits alone, mate. No more.
I'll leave your bits. Yes. It's bad for your eyesight, isn't it? If on your computer, of course. By the way, I was saying a little bit earlier that do you like rummaging around self-help books? Because I've found an absolute cracking self-help book. It's one of the best, I think, you could actually get. Here it is.
Oh. You beat me up, don't you? Because I think you're going to show me something real. And then you just blow me away with that. I love it. Yeah. Oh. Excellent, mate. You can find that in the library along with Hunting Tigers by Claude Body.
Or the best one is go to a supermarket and say, excuse me, could it, I'm trying to meet somebody. Could you ask Mike Hunt to stand by the kiosk, please?
They won't, mate. It's been done too many times now, I'm afraid. They won't fall for it. But it's worth a go. But years ago, mate, when I used to work in restaurants and I used to manage restaurants, one of the things, we had a DIY shop just opposite the restaurant, one of the restaurants I worked in. And we used to send the 16-year-old potwash lads over for stuff like rubber nails and tartan paint and sky hooks. And the best one was the long stand. Because the staff the DIY shop were brilliant on that one. They'd leave them there 20 minutes and then they'd come back and say, and they'd be like, oh, did you have one? And they'd be like, well, no, you've had yours. How was it? Because you go in and ask for a long stand. And if the staff were on the ball, they know what was going, and they just leave them there 20 minutes and then come back and ask them if they'd had long enough. Yeah, shocking, mate.
Well, I think that it's quite fun. The other one is they used to, down Oxford Street, they used to have outside Liberty's, the store. They used to have people trying to sell insurance, Liberty Insurance, and it was nothing whatsoever to do with Liberties. I feel bloody sorry for the store because people were sort of going in complaining about being ripped off. There's nothing to do with them at all. Anyway,
that's a little rude, isn't it?
And every bloody lunchtime, I used to work near Oxford Street, and every bloody lunchtime, you're walking down the road, hear me say, and I got so peed off with it that they said, oh, have you thought, it's usually stuff about insurance or anything. I said, oh, just what I'm looking for. Oh, can we have your telephone number? So I said, yes. What's your name? I said, Mr. G. Raff. And I gave him London Zoo's telephone number and walked off.
I may have done that a couple of times at a Costa Coffee during the nonsense when I was working as a support worker. And I was supporting an individual who wanted to go and get a coffee at a certain coffee chain, which I think I may have already mentioned. And because I pretended I didn't have a phone, and they wanted me to scan a code and all this, and I was like, I haven't got a phone. And so they took my details And yeah, I gave them a name that perhaps might not have been mine. I think it was something like Mr. D. Uck or something like that, and then a fictitious address that I gave them. But there's no way I was giving them my details, mate. But I didn't want to create a scene in front of this lad, because that wouldn't have been becoming of me and my profession.
I know what you mean.
So yeah, you have to box clever sometimes. But that all just got impossible. That's why I came out of it, mate. And obviously, when they introduced the compulsory medication, I bailed, mate, because there was no way.
Good for you.
But I fought it, mate, for a year and a half.
Good for you. We should all do. People say, "What can you do?" Well, if you just fight it by just telling, suppose you sold 10 people, with one, it might make a breakthrough.
Absolutely.
You've made a success. So none of us go, you know.
I made myself very unpopular, mate. I bounced. I'd been in a job for 5.5 years prior to the nonsense, and everything was fine. But within the year and a half that I remained in social care, I worked for 4 different companies, mate, because I just couldn't settle anywhere, and it was nonsense.
Do you know what I think you and I are, Chris? We're self-unemployable.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, I couldn't work for somebody. That's why I'm self-unemployable.
Yeah, I've had a taste of it, mate, and I couldn't go back now. No. Now I've had a taste, and if it's not gardening, mate, I'll just do something else for myself. I'll clean windows, I'll valet cars, I'll clean people's houses. I'm not proud, but I'd never ever in my life have a job again now, mate. I've had a taste of the other side, and it's so much better working for yourself.
It's a million times. But the trouble is, you become an unpaid civil servant, don't you? Having to do all the tax and all that stuff, you know. But anyway, going back to duvets, what's this now? We got it. Can get the floor under your feet when you're on laptop, I think.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's it. That's the earthing mat. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
But I think it's better to sleep on one, because you're in bed a long time. Well, I am, because I'm a lazy bastard. But no, but seriously, I'm an early to bed, early to rise person. I get up about 5 or 6 o'clock, and I know. And I sort of, you are in bed for several hours, and it's the perspiration apparently that creates this sort of electric charge, and it's scientifically proven to be, good for you.
That doesn't mean anything, Chris.
No. The science is settled.
Are you going to tell me to trust the science next?
Trust the natural fibres are best for sleep.
That's what we were saying, Kat, wasn't it, earlier, about the cotton blankets and the wool blankets, and how in the sort of like, I don't know, early 80s, everybody was encouraged to just do away with them and go for the synthetics. So
I will not. I hate mixed fibre. Was it polyester cotton? You go to the supermarkets and you'll see polyester cotton sheets everywhere, and I'll refuse to have them. I will only have cotton. Or now, what's the other one? Bamboo. That's another good one.
Bamboo. Yeah, I had some bamboo socks, mate. They were lovely, but they wore out really quickly. That was the trouble.
Because I actually wear this time of year 2 pairs of socks. I have summer socks on, and then I put the thick woolen socks.
Your thermals.
Top, and that's it. I found thermal socks to be crap, basically. The best are the merino wool ones, the army ones. Now it says most duvets, this is Louise, are polyester mix. If they were cotton, they would be much better for us.
They probably would, wouldn't they?
Kat has said, always wondered why they gave us these shitty polyprop carpets too. Not good for, I've got a story about that, for folks with breathing conditions. Going to replace mine with some 80/20 and see how much better. Yes, I worked with a fella who had a little son, he was only about 6 or 7, that had asthma. And he ripped up all the synthetic carpets in the house and went to real wool or timber floors, and his son's asthma just got better. So
that's interesting, because obviously Jess has got asthma and COPD. So That's quite interesting, you know, because I mean, I don't know what our carpets are. They were here when we moved in, mate. So
that chap, hello, it's off again. Oh, it's the Maple Leaf Rag, isn't it? Scott Joplin.
I'll be back in a minute, Chris.
Okay. Well, anyway, what I was going to say is that this chap had ripped up all the carpets in his house. That's okay. This chap ripped up all the carpets in his house because his son had asthma. He was married to I think she was from the Philippines, Singapore. No, Singapore, I think it was. But she was of Chinese extraction. He was 56 and she was 25. And madly in love, I think, you know. And good for them. And anyway, on with the story. And this, I've got to be careful because we're on PukeTube. But there was an Irish bloke that we worked with. This is when I worked down at Longacre in London. And what happened is he's for the first time in his life, he's suffering from asthma. And when he came in, I mean, he was contract, so he's paid by the hour, so he had to work to earn the money. And he was really in a bad way. And we was thinking, bloody hell, he'd been in hospital for about a couple of days with it, you know. And he had one of these, what they call it, these machines that you plug in. Go, like this.
Is it a nebulizer?
Nebulizer or something like that. Anyway, this chap whose son had asthma, we was near Chinatown, and his wife knew of a Chinese doctor who actually trained in European as well as Chinese medicine. She knew both, but she practiced the Chinese, you see. And this chap came in and he was really in a bad way. He's in such a bad way that it took two blokes to carry him to a taxi. They stayed with him, which is really good of them. Took him to this place, and these were two big blokes who carried him literally up the stairs and put him in the waiting room. And it's full of Chinese people. He was the only European there. Anyway, what happened, I've got to be really careful what I say because I'm on YouTube now. Cutting a long story sideways, we thought, well, that's the last we're going to see of him. I think his name was Jim. He looks as if he's next to death's door. He was in such a bad way. And I think it was on the Friday. And on the Monday, the door burst open and he came through and went, hey, hello, fellas. And we went, you could have heard a pin drop. He was super fit. And apparently, now I don't know not sure how I can word this, how I can avoid the censors. But it turns out
some kind of alternative treatment.
Yes, and it turns out that the quack had actually the Chinese woman said the quack, he's one, was killing him, and she gave him some things. And I told Miles, you know, the chap in the health food shop, about it. He said, oh yes, and he because he studied Chinese medicine, he knew exactly what the plant is. But we just couldn't believe it. Cured him, literally. We just went. It's just.
I'm of the belief that every.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, are you there?
Yeah. Hello. I think the sensors are working.
I'll tell you what, mate. You're setting off a lot of klaxons tonight, aren't you?
Bloody hell, certainly am. Perhaps it should be posh. Perhaps it should be posh shirt I put on. I put my posh shirt on tonight. Or is it hang on, it's a from a certain place in the Middle East.
Yeah, don't get into that. We'll end up getting cancelled.
Yeah, this is perhaps they're seeing this Shamag and they go, you know.
I don't know what's going on tonight, mate, but the internet gods are not on our side.
No, they're not. No. It's you know, but no, that's very true. Sorry, you was going to say, Chris, and then they slipped the turn the button, didn't they?
Yeah, I can't, mate. That moment has gone. I can't remember what I was.
It come back, and well, what's happened is, sorry, I can't read everybody's message out, but we've got Ancient Ruby says we are all born psychic. Going back to psychic, but this world focuses most ignore it, starting with parents not understanding it. Isolation tends to develop it stronger and the gut instinct is always right.
I've read something like that, Ruby, somewhere that is true, and that children are far more intuitive and capable of reading people than what adults are. And like you say, perhaps, I don't know, they get it knocked out of them. But yeah, I've read something along those lines, Ruby. So, and the last bit I definitely agree with, about your gut. Like I say, always listen to your gut.
I 100% agree. Every time I've gone against my gut feeling, it's
bad, isn't it, mate? Don't work out, does it?
Doesn't work out, and
never, mate, never.
The strange thing is that there's three of us that I know of that's had a very similar childhood, where we've had abuse from someone, not sexual abuse, but shall we say psychological abuse?
Yeah, mental abuse, mate. That's nasty. Trust me.
It is nasty. That screws you up, and I think it also. I mean, I thought at one time a year ago that I was actually having a nervous breakdown. I wasn't. Someone's told me you won't have a nervous breakdown. I was in shock, and shock does some very strange things to your mind.
It does, yeah,
it really does. And I really thought I was having a nervous break. I wasn't. It was mild shock. It wasn't full shock. It was mild shock. But I won't go. And I think that is. And when you have a continuous shock, I mean, like I was saying to you, Chris, I don't want to go on about it because I think we should use our past as a positive thing.
Absolutely.
But, that Full Metal Jacket, when the sergeant, or was it the camp bloke goes along and he's absolutely bellowing at that bloke.
Gomer Pyle.
That's it, Gomer Pyle. You are a pile. Pile. I didn't. How tall are you? I didn't know they could build shit that high.
They stack shit that high, yeah, mate. I saw that film from start to finish. I've watched it so many times, mate. That's my favourite film.
As you said quite rightly, Chris, it is an anti-war film.
It's an anti-war film, mate. I thought that as a kid when I first watched it. Somebody told me it was a war film, and I was like, "This isn't a war film. This is a film that's putting it out there and showing you how senseless and ridiculous war is, and the military as well. It is not it's not a war film. It is the best anti-war film ever, and in my opinion, it still remains to this day the best film I've ever watched. And I've watched many, but that one is
Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, was, I think, a genius director.
Hey, he was trying to tell us
as an art. I mean, Barry Lyndon is just artistry right the way through. It's brilliant.
He was trying. Kubrick was trying to tell us stuff. I mean, that's why I think they whacked him, because they wouldn't when his last film, Eyes Wide Shut, which I have watched, there's 30-40 minutes worth of footage missing from that film, and he refused to take it out. And he told them, it's in my contract, you can't edit my film, you can't mess with my film. And so he died of a heart attack before the film was released in the cinema, and those 40 minutes was cut.
That's convenient, because according to Professor Simon, he isn't a professor, I don't watch him much, he's an ex-BBC editor.
Right.
He reckons that he knew the editor of that film, and he said that you have to see it. I did have an extract from what he said, and I can't repeat it verbatim because I might be wrong, but I think he said that the film that you see is not the film that Stanley Kubrick.
Not at all. No. It doesn't make sense for a start. There's no real conclusion to the film. You just see the little girl walking off with the two blokes in a toy shop. But there's a lot of context, I think, missing. And I think the point is that at the end of the film, potentially maybe they sold her into the satanic ring or something, but there wasn't enough context for you to see what was going on. So there was a lot cut from that film, because it really doesn't make much sense. But there's still a lot of imagery. I mean, Kubrick, like I say, he puts things in plain sight, and there's a lot of symbolism in that film as well.
Oh, he was definitely a genius. And the thing with Full Metal Jacket it was filmed entirely in this country.
In Docklands. On the
Docklands.
Docklands before, yeah.
And also in Bassingbourne.
Yeah.
You know, that was in near Royston in Hertfordshire, Bassingbourne. Yeah. And the strange thing, because I worked with some people that worked in Docklands when that was being filmed, and it's a really hot summer, and the humidity was similar, because I had advisors on that film who were in Vietnam War. And they said the humidity is almost identical to Vietnam. Yeah. It was so hot. And but it was there's a scene in it though which only people from our part of the world would know. And there's apparently you see all these Vietnamese refugees walking along a road, and apparently they went round all the Chinese restaurants and that to get extras. Anybody that looked Oriental, they wanted as extras. And apparently they had European extras, but they kept their hats down like this and got them out of sight at the back, sort of. And you look in the back of this, you see right at the back, you see Essex power cables, and everybody that lives around there went, Essex power cables. It's the only fair part. Well, you see them. No. Yeah, and you wouldn't. I don't think you would get them in Vietnam, but apart from that, that was one. Well, I would say it's an error because most of the people in the world wouldn't recognise it unless you're a local. But film, it was just unbelievable.
It's an emotional film, isn't it? Because literally throughout the film, once they go into combat, they get picked off one by one, and Joker is pretty much the only one left. He's the only character in the film that you know that's left alive. Everybody else is dead.
That's right.
I mean, oh mate, when Cowboy gets shot, that bit for me was one of the most traumatic, because I love Cowboy. The first time I watched the film, I was gutted when he got taken out. But it is an anti-war film, mate. It's showing you how pointless and stupid the military is, and how pointless and stupid war is.
It is. But wasn't the acting genius in it? I mean, that the acting was, they got the right characters. I mean, that drill sergeant was actually a drill sergeant.
He was a drill sergeant, yeah. He was.
So he knew he wasn't
be an advisor, wasn't he?
Sorry?
He was supposed to be an advisor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And as soon as I think it was Kubrick, I think as soon as he heard him, talk, and he was like, right, he's got to play the part.
Yeah. And he wrote some of the script as well. But the point I was actually getting at is not exactly because I've never been in the forces or anything like that, neither of you, but I've actually had someone bullying me like that for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And I took it and took it and took it and took it and took it. And I think that what it did, you develop a coping mechanism to save yourself going doolally. And that coping mechanism is to detach yourself from your body. So you you're like, your body's there, but you're kind of sitting back and looking at it as if you're not there.
Yeah.
And that coping mechanism kicks in certain occasions in ways you don't, and it's there to save you. Now, I don't want to go into this, but I think my mother had a mental illness. Now, the thing is, I don't blame her for that. She can't help having a mental illness, but it wasn't diagnosed. So I think that I look on it in two ways. There's the nice person I knew, and then there was a mental illness, which is something completely different. And I was subjected like a kangaroo court about, a little while ago, quite a long time ago now. And all I did was apologise, because in a kangaroo court, words mean nothing. The only thing you want to do, at that door, get out. You're in a demonic atmosphere, you get away, you get out. So you apologise, say anything, doesn't matter what you say, and get out. And again, I was very calm because I was detached from it. And I look at what happened as a positive thing, because they're character building situations. And what you've had, Chris, in your life, to me, it's not a negative. What I've had is not negative, because that saved me. And so if I was in the situation like that pile and someone's bellowing it, And now with trolls, it just sort of bounces off. Doesn't mean to say I'm skinned in that way. I'm very sensitive, but it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, you see, I'm both, mate. I am both thick-skinned and extremely sensitive, which I understand is a contradiction, but I am a walking contradiction. I really am.
Same here. Yeah, I'm very sensitive, hypersensitive. But that thing that, you know.
Yeah, somebody trolled me online, mate. I wouldn't give a shit. Like, I really wouldn't. Like, I couldn't care less what somebody in Venezuela thinks about me.
Yeah.
Or you know,
I enjoy going bing and deleting them. I just go bing.
I get a lot in troll me, mate, because I'm not really on anywhere. So
I occasionally get one in. Very occasional though. But you see, the thing is, because I'm pretty small, I haven't got a very big audience. When you get bigger, and I like, you know,
you need the algorithms on side for that, though, don't you, mate?
Well, that's right. Yes, and I think
I like you as you are, mate. It's nice watching you grow, but at the same time, I think part of the charm is the fact that this is a very intimate space, and that there are people that come on here regularly, and I'm talking about the people watching, not the guests. And I think that, you know, that is part of the charm of this, is that it isn't something massively big. I don't really want my face all over the internet. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I'm not looking to be famous or anything like that, mate. I don't think you are either. You know,
no.
I think it's just nice to come here. I think this is therapy for you, mate. I think that's what a lot of this is.
It probably is, because I suffer from chronic shyness. People don't realise I do suffer from. I've always had chronic shyness, but you see, people wouldn't think it is. But you see, the thing is that shy people. My uncle was a stand-up comedian, and before he died, he told me that he suffered from chronic shyness. Believe it or not, you'd never think he was. Well, but he did. Because when he was not on stage, he was sort of timid, sort of thing, but very hypersensitive. And I think that, you know, what I was just saying about thick-skinned. Yes, I'm the same as you, Chris. I'm very, very sensitive to people saying things like that. But I think the hard knocks we get harden us up for different occasions. We do not think. And I think that what I went through as a child has toughened me up in a way to sort of. Yeah. I mean, if someone's offensive, says something rude to me, okay, so what? I just look at them as a bit of a nutter and just feel sorry for them. That's it. You know, it doesn't really. But when you look at the amount of nice people, when you think about it, 99% of the people here are the nicest people. I mean, there's a chap, John from Cyan. He comments on BitChute because he can't comment on YouTube because he'll type out something in the comments and suddenly it'll just disappear, and that's it. But he can only comment on BitChute, and great people like him. There's great people. I won't mention those in the comments, but everybody in the comments is really nice.
Because you mentioned.
Because I'll be here after night, you know.
Well, if you forget,
I'll leave someone out. I think
you'll never.
Miserable sod. But anyway, we got here from Urban Fox. Wayne. Every detail from an accident is stored in the subconscious, Chris. This happens because conscious thought is reduced. These incidents can affect us our entire lives without us having any awareness. Well, this is rather like a post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, I would agree with what Wayne's saying there, totally.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. You know, I think it's now it says here, Adrian says, you also must know that psychics and mediums are different. Well, a medium was sort of that size, isn't it? And sorry. And I won't say about striking a happy medium. I said it so many bloody times.
You have said it a few times.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit sad. Now it says here, I've seen a woman do it in an English movie. Really? My boggle as well. Good for you.
Moving on.
Moving on, yeah, straight moving on. But actually, have you ever had healing done to you? Because I have.
Yeah. Energy healing. Me? Oh, not psychic healing. No, I've had energy healing, like as in, but not psychic healing. No.
I don't know. Is it energy healing when they put their hands not on you but just over you?
Yeah, and you can feel the vibration. And the lady who done it on me, she'll rub her hands together and hold her hand up, and you put your hand up against hers, and you can feel a force between your hands.
Well, I had this done to me, this healing, and I felt this like buzzing around my head. And I mean, maybe a wig stand up on end. That's how bad it was. No, I'm joking. And oh, blimey, wig on tonight. And what happened is it gave me an inner strength that I didn't know I had.
Whenever I have a healing, I ache like hell for 24, 30 hours afterwards. I don't feel good the next day at all. But the day after that, you reap the benefits, mate. So, yeah, there's something in that. Again, it's not an accident.
Now, this is another one from Wayne. This happens by different stimuli, which triggers illness, mood swings, and can have other effects as well. Only by certain processes can these anchors be removed. Yes, now that brings me on to a second thing that I was going to talk about, and that is Tesla and a chap I can never remember the name of, but you told me.
Edison.
Now, Thomas Edison. It's funny, it's strange because you know that Richard D. Hall is going to court later this month. And there's something
I didn't know it was this month. I'm aware that he's in some kind of strife, but yeah.
Yes. Richplanet.net. And he has got memory similar to mine. He can't remember names. You've got a very good long-term memory, but not short-term.
Right.
And I can remember things that happened years ago, but short-term names, somebody could tell me their name, and it's something to go out of my head instantly.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at names. I always have been. Since I was a kid, I couldn't remember names. But anyway, Thomas Edison and Tesla. Now, there was a race on at the turn, I'd say not turn of the light, about 1920s or a little bit earlier, because something happened with Tesla where he heard voices when he was doing his electrical experiments. And he made a gizmo which he believed you could communicate with the dead. And Thomas Edison strived to make one as well. But Tesla's was the most easiest and could be made. I could make one. But I don't dabble in things like that because I believe you're opening up to invite almost anything into your life, which could be very, very dangerous. And to me, it's like Ouija boards. It's dodgy. Unless I had somebody that really knew what they're doing, what it's about, sitting next to me, I'd still even then be a little bit uneasy. I think
you've got to be careful what you summon up, haven't you? That's the thing. Who knows where you're going. I mean, Tesla said, didn't he, that if you want to understand the world, think of it in terms of, was it energy, frequency, and vibration? Were those the three words that he used? But he had a far advanced understanding of reality, far more than anyone of his time, possibly since. He was a genius. I can't believe kids don't learn about Tesla at school. I mean, if you take all the stuff that we would potentially believe in, but most people might not out of it, you're still left with alternating current, the Tesla coil. There's so much, mate. And I mean, he envisaged a device where people in the London Stock Exchange would have like a screen that they would walk around with to do their trading. He was talking about tablets, mate, and smartphones, but he was talking about them in the 1930s and things like that. The man was an absolute genius, and most children know nothing about him.
And he was also very, very superstitious. He'd walk around a building umpteen times before he went in it, and he did certain things by numbers.
He talked to pigeons as well, didn't he?
Yes, his love of his life. He wrote a love poem to his pigeon.
Didn't know that.
I mean, there's a pigeon that settles outside on my bird's table.
Have you written a poem for it?
Well, I did start, but it didn't shit on my head, so I thought, well,
get Fred to knock one. He did you a nice little ditty in your Christmas card.
Yes, he did, didn't he? Yes,
he
Fred
did.
the spider plant. Yes.
Have you got him any plant food yet? You tight-fisted git.
No, he's looking a bit dead at the moment. Have a quick, I just turn the camera around. Look, he's looking a bit. I don't know, he's all right.
He looks all right, but
he'd
love a bit of baby bile or something.
Baby bile, no, bleeding banana water is what I give him. Well, after all, football is Banana Republic.
Chris, hold fire. I've just been prompted by my wife. You need an amaryllis update.
A what?
Amaryllis update.
An amaryllis update.
Let me just let this dog in.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Remember, folks, buy this book. Right. Okay. Wow. Way bloody Nora.
Hey.
Come on. Geese.
Is it taking over your house?
It will be soon, won't it?
It's a triffid.
It's a triffid, my wife said. Yeah.
You got green fingers.
I've got green fingers, mate. You know that. Got tulip flowers. There's another one down the bottom there.
I've got green fingers. Well, you would have been a gardener.
Well,
someone said to me,
wouldn't you, mate?
Well, somebody said to me, I've got green fingers. I said, no, I use a handkerchief. I just wonder what.
And there's the ladies. Look.
Hey.
They're all still looking good.
And they're cleaning your environment.
They are.
So when Bartley lets a dolly cart go, it cleans the air for you.
Yeah.
There's any Bartley that do things like that.
We'll be breeding from them, mate.
Excellent. And if you want any more breeding ones, I can send a few more through the post.
My amaryllis is nearly fell over there. It's a bit wonky.
Oh, I must show you. Mate. I didn't show you my spuds. Oh, I got them out. They're that big.
An email. Oh,
yeah, they're that big and that big and that big. The small ones are quite tasty, actually. Marbles are.
How much did they cost you?
Nothing.
There you go.
And they're good for a meal. So there we go.
Yeah.
But now it's interesting what Urban Fox says. Says, I did tarot readings one Christmas in Liberty's store, and I shouldn't really. I'm not. Wayne, shall I say this? Psychic. Yeah, there is probably tarot readings planned for future show when we can do live.
I know Wayne's into the cards and sort of that sort of mate. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know enough about it.
Yes, I hope it's going to be accurate. So, he did one for me, very, very thorough, very professional, and but I don't like playing.
He's a very sincere man, Chris. He's a very sincere man.
Oh,
whatever
he
you
is.
Think of Wayne, whether you agree with him or not, he's a sincere man.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's like people with spiritual beliefs of different religions. I have the greatest respect for them.
Of course.
And what I was going to say is we was planning something. I don't like saying too many future plans in case it doesn't work out.
Yeah,
but we're playing.
Can it? Don't say anything.
Yeah, so we're playing something around tarot readings. Let's put it that way.
And let it be a nice surprise when it comes out, mate. I'm with you. I think talk is cheap. I really think that it is your actions and what you do in life, not what you say you're going to do, but what you do in life that makes a difference. And your attitude and how you help other people is how you'll be remembered. It's like I used to say to my proper dad when we used to speak. He was very materialistic, very much chasing the dollar. He's done very well for himself. But I used to say to him, Dad, I've never seen a hearse towing a trailer.
Spot on. Or be the richest man in the
graveyard. What people aren't going to remember you for what you've accumulated. People are going to remember you for the impact that you made on their lives and the things you did. And that's what's important. I think that's your legacy. That's what you leave behind.
Look at Casey. Now he's led a fantastic legacy. I mean, I don't think there's any dirty marks against him. And I think
I'm going to have to read up about this chap, mate.
Yeah, I like what I hear. And Tesla, I don't think there's any dirty marks against him either.
Not that
there is against Edison. He was that's a nice.
He was a vile man. He was electrocuting an elephant. He was killing
elephants.
Yes.
I've seen that. They've actually got film of it, and it's turned me sick.
He's an awful man. He was killing elephants because he wanted to discredit alternating current and tell people that they should use direct current, even though direct current was useless and alternating current was the solution. He tried to make everybody believe that it was the other way around by electrocuting elephants with alternating current. So,
well, you think where we would be? We'd have to have a power station on every bloody street corner if we had DC.
If we had direct current, we would, mate.
Yeah.
Because you know it's and again, Tesla, you know, he's the reason you've got electricity in your home now. And you don't get nothing about him, mate. Not a bean.
No.
It's only if you're curious that you'll find out about him.
Well, I think also when you sort of look at these, I don't like as heroes that the pumped up heroes that the establishment bring up, because most of them, it's like, look at the gongs that they hand out every year. Most of them, it's what's his name said. I can't remember. Again, terrible memory for names. He said it's a gong for failure. Most of the people are failures who get those gongs. Or they're
like Savile, aren't they? And they're just utterly revolting. And I mean, interesting, you know, Savile got a gong. He got quite a few gongs. And the person who decided not to prosecute Savile when he was head of the CPS is a sir. You know, it is all there. Like George Carlin says, one big club, you're not in it.
That's right. And what we got, Pandora Chaser 2 says, I refuse all QR codes and made up names or simply sovereign man as I refused them my money as trade. Yes.
Good for you. I want to just, while we're on QR codes, I am in the most I've never scanned a QR code and I don't ever plan on scanning one, but something horrible has happened in my life which made me question and nearly do it the other day. So you know that I have a fondness for Lego, and that I have had this goes way back beyond me ever going down rabbit holes. And I know it's plastic and it's crap and they're a multinational and all that, but I've been collecting it for donkey's years and I'm not going to stop, because it's one of the few things that if I did have any money to spend, I'd spend it on. So anyway, they've just released a new minifigure series thing. So you get these 12 little dudes and you collect them, but they come in blind boxes. So they come in boxes that you just get a lid like that, so you can't see what's in them. But they've put QR codes on the bottom of them, and if you scan the QR code, it will tell you what's in the box, which obviously means that you don't have to buy loads to get the set, because you can just scan. Oh, mate, I haven't, and I won't, but I'll tell you what, it's the closest I've ever come to scanning one this week, when I bought myself some minifigures and then realised that they got these, and I was like, what I did was I just made sure I got 4 that had different QR codes on, and that worked out well for me because I've got 4 different figures, and I've kept the bottom of the boxes and written on them what ones they are and put them in my wallet, so if I go and buy some more, I'll try and. But mate, honestly, it worries me, because I am quite a weak person in terms of, I've got a really, like, part of my personality is still weak. You know, the fact that I can't give up smoking at the moment, that tells me that I'm still weak, and I just worry that one day I'm gonna just like fold.
Could it be one? Could it? I don't know. I think it's. I see. We've all got our strange quirks, very strange quirks. Like, for example, if I buy, and this leads me on to footwear. If I buy some footwear that I think fits me well, I'll buy 2 pairs just in case.
Yeah, because you've got nice.
I mean, I'll give you, and this is the next top tip, you see. We're going to bring top tips.
See, that's now. Chris, to me, that's not unusual. That's sensible. If you found something you like, then why not get a spare? Because you know that it's not going to last forever. So,
precisely.
That my wife's does that. She's got shoes. We've got shoes that she's got down here, and we've got a pristine pair in a box upstairs. Because when she got them, she thought, "Oh, I really like them. I'll get 2 pairs." And then when the first one wear out, I've got a second one.
It's like I always have backup. Now, for example, if this computer goes tits up, I've got a laptop that I can still do the show on. So I've got backup. Now, this is the sort of boot that I would wear in the winter. You probably have similar for your gardening. And
wait there.
Hang on, it's like Altberg. See, Altbergs, and they're made in Yorkshire, I believe. Altbergs. Hang on. We're gonna have boot comparison now.
There.
Now that's called real work
boots.
Now this looks a bit poncy with a polish, doesn't it? I mean, that's really sort
of. Mine are filthy.
Well, yeah, but that shows that's an honest boot. I know, but now Altbergs. Now I'm a tight-fisted git, as people realise. You know, I take large steps to save on shoe wear and things like that. You know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you have a date with a girl and you go to the cinema, you arrange to meet her inside the cinema, not outside, so you only pay for yourself. That sort of thing, you know. And,
brutal.
Well, you know, for example, you go to a pub afterwards and you ask for a drink with 2 drinking straws, you know. Anyway, Altbergs, I don't normally buy with clothing that I wouldn't buy second hand. But these are so bloody expensive, they're a couple of £100. Yet you can get them new, almost new, army surplus for, hello, it's Bartley. Hello, yeah. Bart. And he's the producer, isn't he? And
I hope not. We're stuffed if he is, mate.
And you can get them for 30 quid on eBay.
That's cheap, mate. Yeah. I pay 40 for mine. Mine are Carrymore's. And I've been buying Carrymore boots, mate, since I was 16 years old. So...
But I've discovered something else. Now, these are, when, excuse my language, when it's piss in the rain, freezing cold, but I found something better, which you can buy for £21 off the internet. It sounds like one of these shopping channels, doesn't it? Hi there, people. And these are barefoot boots. And you buy barefoot shoes.
They're like grounding shoes, aren't they?
They're brilliant. The most comfortable shoes ever. They don't, sometimes you get them looking like toes at the front, which look bloody awful. These look like trainers. You can walk for miles with these, because I've got, don't tell anybody, between you and I, I've got a bunion because I've got Morton's toe. That means your big toes.
We know Morton's toe.
Yeah. So this is making the bunion. It appears to be going down because you're walking like barefoot. And your toes spread out. And your gait, whatever they say, you know, the gait way you walk is a bit different. So, and don't buy them off of these big main adverts. Go onto eBay. They're 21 quid if you know where to look. So, there we go. There, see,
nice.
So,
right, Chris, I'm going to list Chris. I will be 1 minute. I've got to go and have a Jimmy Riddle. If I don't, I'm going to tiddle in my pants, and I don't.
Right. I'll show a top tip for cyclists.
You share your top tip, and I'll go.
Right now, this is a top tip for cyclists, because I like to do a top tip a week. You see, now if like me, you're a keen cyclist and motorist. I'm a fair weather cyclist. You often want to buy some shopping. Now I have a backpack on me. But you can't get much in there. So, little top tip, take with you an old-fashioned string bag, which again you can get off eBay. They're about £1, £2, something like that. You might be up by them in the high street, market stalls. But it must be a string bag. Here it is. There's a string bag. And then I have these, which are like climbers, sort of Carrymore things. And what you do is, if you buy, I don't know, whatever you want to buy, say tins or something and whatever, you can put them in the bag, put that over, you can put it over your handlebars, over to the main frame in the middle. It's not going to scratch it, because then what you do, you clamp it together using one of these. And you can carry a lot of loads. You don't need a parcel shelf at the back of your bike. And you just take that and that with you. Well, you need to have so many as these. And there we go. And that's it. Voila. So that's a little top tip. So what you do, you put your stuff in there, wrap it over the frame of your bike, clamp it together with, what are these things called? I think they're what climbers use, aren't they? I don't know.
Oh, a bungee clip. No, not bungee clips. Oh, God, I can't remember what they're called.
Anyway, these clips, you get them quite cheap. And you just clip them together. It doesn't scratch the paintwork on your bike. So it look, you know, and also you look like a bag person, you know, a bit of, oh, poor sod. But you can cycle back, you put it over your handlebars, over the main frame at the front. You don't need a parcel thing. You'd be amazed the load that you can carry with just string bag and that just goes, that goes on my belt and that goes in the backpack. And that's it. So
I bet you're a peculiar character around where you live, aren't you?
Bloody weird. Bloody weird.
Here he comes. Look.
It's like ridiculous. I say, oh, is that twat? Because when I'm driving, it's either a smart car or my Toyota. But the trouble is, you get out of a smart car and get into a Toyota, and it's like driving an aircraft carrier because you think, bloody not, yeah. But I like personal transport. Always have done. I've been fascinated in it. I've just
you crack on, mate. I don't want you to change. You just stay as you are. I love it. Your little quirks.
A van and turn it into a stealth camper van.
Yeah, I'd love to do that, mate. That's the plan. If ever anything goes wrong and we lose the house for any reason, then that would be the thing, mate. Is just invest what we got in a lorry or a van or something, and off we go. Hopefully it won't come to that. I'd quite like to stay here, mate. Until they come get me to put me in one of their camps. I'll stay here as long as I can.
Well, that's what I think all these military-age men from overseas are doing, coming here, because
it's interesting, isn't it, mate?
It's going to go up through the roof, and then they're going to have people, because remember, problem, reaction, solution, then they're going to have people begging to have 15-minute towns.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's a lot safer with all these cameras around.
Yeah. There's no doubt that whatever they've got planned, it's not in our interests. And the best thing, you know, if you want the answer, just stand in front of the mirror. There it is. That's your answer. I agree with you.
We're not looking for a leader. That's who it is.
And you know, anyone you want to put on a pedestal. Like I said to you the other day, mate, I don't really do much alternative media anymore. I used to be in all kinds of things, but I don't anymore. There's a few things I give my time to, but not many. I'm not saying I know everything I need to know or anything stupid like that, but I'm at a point now where I've done the CFR and I've done the occult and I've done the process church and I've done Jonestown and I've done the moon landing and I've done 9/11 and I've done all that. I'm not really bothered about much of that anymore, mate. Now I'm more interested in solutions. I'm more interested in pointing people in a direction where they can help themselves to and taking myself as far away from it as I can now, mate, as well. You know, I've got a 5-year plan, if you like. I sound like Stalin now, don't I? But I've got a 5-year plan, mate, and the plan is certain things within my personal life, stop smoking, certain things, you know, with me and my wife, getting out of debt. But there's a plan in my head where I want to be in 5 years, mate, and hopefully I'll be able to get there. But it involves just disengaging from as much of it as you can, mate, because the more involved you are, the more likely it's going to sink you. If you can grow your own food, here we go again, learn how to forage, have the skills that you can dress and prepare game to eat it. It's not difficult. Skinning a rabbit's one of the easiest things you'll ever do. You know, but you need them skills now, mate. They're the things that people need to, I think, if you're going to put your attention to anything now, then it needs to be getting ready for what's coming and preparing yourself mentally, physically as well, mate. It's brilliant that I became a gardener when I did, because I was so out of shape, mate, 2.5 years ago. Really was. Had no upper body strength at all. I just let myself get old and flabby. And being a gardener, mate, has turned that around. I'm not strong. I'm not saying I'm He-Man or anything, mate, but I'm stronger than most of my friends now, just because of what I do every day.
And also, I believe I think Bob Flowerdew. Now he comes from up near where you are. He was a BBC gardener, and you never see him.
Said the one with the braided hair or something, or
yeah, plaits. He had a plait at the back.
Yeah,
right. And he said, and I 100% agree with him. Instead of doing sports at school, where it's compulsory when I was at school, and I hated it, why can't you have gardening? Teach children how to grow their own food. And I think they should teach children how to grow their own food, teach them what user is about. But if they did that, there would be, shall we say, there would not be a government the next day.
Not what the system wants, is it? That's the thing. If school was to be of something of value to people, it would be no good to the system. They don't want a nation of free thinking people who are capable of standing on their own 2 feet. That's the last thing they want. They want a nation of programmed drones who who just, like George Carlin said again, just smart enough to work the machines and do the paperwork, but still dumb enough not to realise how hard they're getting shafted by the system, mate. And that's what they want.
Right. Because, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it's like this freedom thing. When I go anywhere, I don't want to stay in a guest house or hotel. I want to stay in my own sort of van. That's the way. But the trouble is, I've been looking around. All these vans, when you see these people doing stealth camper van, they're always getting problems with them because they're so computerized now that where once upon a time you could repair something yourself, you can't do it because it's all computerized. So I'm looking for something that is absolutely goes and goes and goes, really rock solid. And
you want something like, I mean, occasionally, I don't know, the MOD used to sell things off. Me and my mum's second husband, my first stepdad, Big Chris, me and him nearly bought a Hummer Pig armoured car.
Really?
The MOD they were selling them off for 600 quid. And I had 300 quid and he had 300 quid and we were going to get it. And then my mum put the block on it. This would have been when I was like 17, 18 years old. So this would have been like 30 years ago, mate. But yeah, the MOD was selling off Hummer Pigs, 600 quid. And me and him were going to go halves on it. And it would have been a buzz, mate. It would have been an absolute buzz. Just like driving round in a Hummer Pig. That would be perfect, mate. For a camper van, because like no bugger would get you in there.
That's it. Yeah. You're right.
You could strip it out and have a little bunk in there and everything, and yeah. But
I'm actually wondering. I'm wondering whether to use my Carina, because it is, when you put the seat down, I bet you can get a bed in there.
Is it an estate?
Sort of. It's a fastback, which is sort of
with you. Yeah.
But the thing is that with a van, the good thing about it, the only downside is if you've got a solar panel on the roof. If you're next to a solar panel, it can make you depressed because of the smoggy electricity they give off.
Electric. Yeah. The rates went through the roof when they introduced electricity into houses in the 20s, mate. You know, electric is dirty. We've all seen the stories years and years ago in the press where people had houses under pylons and the kids were getting leukemia and things like that, mate. You know, there's 0 point energy, mate. That's the clean energy that they'll never let us have.
Well, that's right. But, you know, I was thinking, you see, stealth camper van man, his advice was always park in an industrial area. You won't get pestered by people and it's safer because they've got security cameras there and they don't.
And a lot of the factories have night watchmen and security guards that pop in every like hour and check the premises. So mate, I feel like I should prompt you to potentially pop into chat. I'm sure some people have left some wonderful messages, mate. And I feel like we've neglected it a little bit for a while. So perhaps Yeah.
Seal skin socks are good, not suited for vegetarians. Laugh out loud. No, they're not actually seal skins, but
Oh, pair of sealskin socks, mate. I bet they're lovely and warm.
yes, but they're nothing to do with seals, I don't think. Chinese extraction. Was that a dentist for tooth 30? Oh, tooth 30.
Poor man. Poor.
Yes. Anyway, I think I better go right down to the bottom and go backwards because that was a long time ago. Now, it says here, Bob Flowerdew used to grow strawberries in old tyres. Yeah, and he turned tyres out inside out, and I had to go and almost did myself a mischief.
You don't turn inside out, do you? You just fill them up. You can stack them. The beautiful thing with tyres is you can do all sorts with tyres. Would be a great thing to grow in.
Well, I'm going to make a well out of one.
Yeah.
And then what I do is get some cotton. I've got an old sheet that was ripped, soak it in pure cement and water, and then wrap it round the tyres, and then you can do like an effect on the side, and it looks like stonework. See?
Right. So, just while I think about it, Chris, because if not, it's just popped into my head. If I don't tell you, it'll disappear and it'll go again for a month. Last week, when you were talking about your copper pole that you had put in the middle of
yes,
my friend Elizabeth made a valid point to me about that. You put a pot holder or something on top of it to stop you clonking your head.
Yes.
Well, that might affect the flow of the energy because you're almost like if it's like an aerial, if you think of it as an aerial, and taking in whatever, and you're kind of stifling it by putting that might not be the best. So I meant to tell you that on the Dog and Bone the other day, but I forgot. But while I think of it, that's probably worth mentioning, mate.
Oh, cheers, because I was trying to knock my eyeball out.
Don't thank me, thank Elizabeth, mate. It was her observation.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
I merely said I would pass it on. But yeah, that would potentially make sense, wouldn't it?
Yes, you're quite right there. Yes, you got a point. In fact, I'll put them up on my shelf. Anything I'm growing, I'll put because that way I won't knock my eyeball out.
You won't. Well, you know your head on it, and you won't at the same time take away any potential good that you're doing by having your copper pole in there.
And my potatoes are delicious, by the way. Even though they're very little ones, they're delicious.
Who cares, man?
Thanks to your advice, Chris, with putting straw on top. Bastard slugs have kept up of them.
Yeah, they will do that. They can't traverse over straw. I learned that when I was about 6 years old.
I won't read the first few words out for reasons. They changed the traveller van life laws that so far have not enforced them much.
Didn't know that, Pan, but it doesn't surprise me. Again, look at what they did in the 80s when we had the New Age travellers, and look at how they treat them. And they, I mean, I'm not saying they were perfect people or anything like that. You know, there was the brew crew, wasn't there? The special brew lot, and there was different factions of that sort of movement as well. But they made it impossible, absolutely impossible for them to live. They just chased them from one lay-by to another. And it was like predominantly, it was like Wiltshire police, wasn't it? Dorset,
that's right.
Somerset, Avon Constabulary, all that lot round there, and they just gave them and they smashed all their vehicles up. The Battle of the Beanfield, and there was one subsequently the year after, wasn't there? Something Cross.
Battle of the Beanfield.
Battle of the Beanfield, and then there was
Battle of the Beanfield. And it's on YouTube. You can put Battle of the Beanfield.
Yeah, have a look at it. Look at what they did. The ITN reporter that was reporting on it at the time was absolutely disgusted. He said there should be an inquiry over this because the police just ran across the field and started smashing all the windows of the buses in. And there were kids in these buses and all sorts.
Horrendous.
So yeah, Battle of the Beanfield and Battle of Stony Cross, I think, is the other one. But they literally just destroyed the movement and made it impossible for people to live like that. And that's what they do.
That's it. I mean, I think anything like that, you've got to be very subtle the way you do it and be careful where you park. Park on the edge of estates. Park, as that bloke said, in industrial areas where there's lots of vans.
Under the radar, mate. Yeah.
Under the radar. That's it. Yeah. And because on his one, he put patrol dogs. No dog in there. But this is interesting. They are real skin. Oh, I didn't realise that. What these socks, Chris the gardener, you can get them in King's Lynn.
Louise, are you talking about there's a factory on the Hardwick called Sealskins? Yeah, there's a in King's Lynn. There's a factory called Sealskins on the Hardwick. One of our friends works there. So is that what you're talking about, Louise? I think it probably might be.
It's interesting. Yes, and now you can make great solar cookers from tyres and a glass pane on top.
That would make sense again, because rubber, it would retain the heat, wouldn't you? You'd be and tyres being black as well, and yeah, you're an interesting
Nigerian bloke, really are. There's a Nigerian bloke with a really strong London accent. He's in Nigeria, but he's obviously born in this country because you're all cool, blimey, mate, you know. And he did that in Nigeria. I think you can only do it in midsummer in this country. I don't think it worked this time of the year, would it?
Possibly not. No. But again, interesting and good. That's good information to have, isn't it? I mean, that might, you might need that one day. Who knows what's coming this year? This year, next year, mate. I think they're the two pivotal. I think I think they're gonna hit us with something. I mean, you've got so much this year. You've got the UK general election, which we know Labour's a shoo-in, mate. There's no way Starmer can screw it up this time, I don't think. I think that's pretty much a given. American election might not even happen, mate. Who knows? No. There's a lot of time between now and November, isn't there? And there was I think somewhere else as well. One of the big countries is having an election this year, I think, as well, mate. But there's just that for starters, and then you look at around the world and look at what's going on. It's insane. I think this year is going to be I think if you thought 2020 was wild, I think potentially 2024 might just be turning around to 2020 and saying, "Hold my pint a second, I'll show you how it's done." Because I really do think if they've got their deadline's 2030, mate, isn't it?
That's right.
They need to ramp it up a bit.
Yeah. I mean, look what happened with Joe Biden. Did you hear what happened to him the other day? He was standing there speech, and his prompter and aide said, "Joey says it's a terrible smell. Have you crapped yourself?" So tonight's jokes are very lavatorial, aren't they? Yes. So that's why I dress a bit posh, you see, to try and hide the standards.
Try and raise the tone.
Yeah, try and raise the tone. Anyway, it flies around and bloody hell, it's on the nose, isn't it? I said, "You sure, Joe?" He said, "You got your diaper on?" "Yeah, I got my diaper on, and then I hadn't shit myself." So has he shit himself today? He said, "Oh, blimey." And in the end, it got so bad, they said, "Well, hang on, get him round the back." They dropped his trousers, a great pile of his trousers. He said, "I thought you said you haven't crapped yourself." "Oh, that was yesterday. I thought you meant today." So it's a terrible joke, isn't it? Yes, more laboratorial jokes. Now,
it'll be an interesting year, I think.
I like what Hereditary Get Fucked says. Copper makes plumbers grow big.
Right.
Does he? I'll tell you something. It's supposed to stop baldness, so I've got to lick copper pipes. Them are attacking all people that want freedom. That's right.
Definitely.
Now I will. It says, Cat Holly says, "My lungs are much better since as have double."
She's got COPD from double atypical pneumonia. Same as my wife, Chris. Exactly same thing happened to her. She had double pneumonia twice and has got COPD as a result of it now. And I'll tell you what, mate, there's nothing more terrifying than not being able to breathe. And when I've seen Jess before, mate, where it's brutal, mate. No, mate, we're not looking for sympathy or pity. We're not looking for any of that, mate. I'm just saying,
I can understand that.
Because you're breathing. That is, if you can't breathe, you're dead, basically. And when you can't breathe, mate, and there've been times with her where I've been proper worried, and it is horrible not being able to breathe. So you have my empathy, Kat. You really do.
Oh, bless you both. I think that's.
But I'm sure, Kat, you're a very savvy, switched on lady, and I'm sure that you have got things in place that help you with your COPD. And I wish you all the best with it, my baby, because it is horrible. It really is.
It must be.
It's got to be, isn't it?
Hang on, this is what we do, Chris. The slugs will live under your straw.
It's never happened yet, Stephen.
Didn't happen with me. Put the straw down, and no slugs, no snails.
You need a reasonable thickness of straw, because because they can't manoeuvre over it. I've never had a slug when I've put straw down around things, mate. Never.
That's why they're called strawberries. They put also not only with potatoes, but they put straws around your.
Grandad always had straw around his strawberries, mate. Always, and he had them under netting as well to keep the birds and things off, and the the butterflies that lay their eggs on things. And
but the slugs will live. I don't. Yeah, no, they didn't do it with me.
No, they won't, mate. As long as your straw's thick enough, that is a surefire way to keep slugs off your crops, mate.
Now we got here. Ian Drury had a song about I guess that's the battle. I think that's the Battle of the Beanfield. Yes, very famous.
Yes, it was. He did. You're right. The Levellers, they wrote a song called "The Battle of the Beanfield," I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it says here Trump Norris 2024.
Dan, I hope you're joking. We don't know though, do we? I know there are people that still think he's not.
Now this is an interesting one. I'm not coming anywhere near your garden, mate. Stephen Trissinger, if you dig deep trenches and have human pot with straw, cover it over and wait a year, it will end up like blocks of peat.
I'm almost tempted to try that, Stephen, now. I'm almost tempted to try it.
Yes.
Who knows? I'll store it in my memory somewhere, and if ever I need it, who knows?
That's right. And it says, oh, they will ramp up everything up soon, and sadly not anything good for the people.
I think so, really, but we can still have a good year. It doesn't prevent us from having a fruitful a year where we all grow and develop and become more loving, more useful. It doesn't matter what they've got planned. You create your own reality, mate.
Now, I don't know whether to read this out, but I think we're just looking at Dan MC's. I've had my butt wiped. Have you really? Well, that's very kind. That's very good. And
I've wiped a few butts in my time, Chris.
Yes.
I've cleared up some horrible messes, mate.
Oh, yes. Well, I looked after my parents when they were ailing, and believe me, you get so used to it, you don't even notice the smell.
No, you don't, mate. You become immune.
You just turn your brain off and just get on.
Salt pipes. We had salt lamps, Pam. We had salt lamps, but the cats started licking them and everything. So we haven't used them as much. Jess's COPD has been so much better since we moved from the town to the countryside as well. That's something that's worth doing.
But do you find? I find that I'm doing it now. When you yawn, it helps you breathe easier. So sometimes I get breathless with panic attacks, and I just find that I yawn and then I'm breathing into a bag because I get panic attacks and things.
Paper bag,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I got taught that years ago, that breathing into a paper bag can help calm you down.
Yes. We need Chuck Norris.
Norris. Who was Chuck Norris, Chris? Remind me.
Oh, he's a big He-Man. I think he was one of these big
Wasn't
sort of
he fought Bruce Lee in one of the films, didn't he? I'm sure he was in one of Bruce Lee's films. Chuck Norris. No.
I don't remember him much, actually. He might be a bit vomit. I don't know. I bought Salt Pipe, couldn't get much from it, but thanks, and bless you, Jess. Chris, you're a lovely lady. Thing is, we make best of it.
Absolutely.
And try to do long walks, etc., and push ourselves. I agree with you.
Yeah. It's life is what you make of it, and when it throws you lemons, make lemonade.
Well, to me, it's a bit like cycling, to me, that's my gymnasium. And you can go somewhere whilst you do it, whilst you're exercising, which is a double bonus. As long as it's not frozen up your backside or peeing with rain. I'd take potassium, DE, and a number of vits, and widely used colloidal to prevent flare-ups. That's interesting.
Let me make a note of that.
That's probably colloidal silver.
Yeah.
And I know that Miles in Abbey Health Food Shop, he makes it. He's got a machine that makes it.
I need to meet Miles at some point, mate. That would be nice. And obviously,
yes,
as part of my journey, that's, you know, something that my knowledge is not very strong on vitamins and minerals and things that I could take that would help me. I'm a bit worried, mate. I'm 48 and I already ache at the end of every day after work. It does concern me, like in 20 years' time, am I still going to be able to do the job that I do now? And I think,
you will. I mean, I a lot, but I think the thing is that when you use muscles that you haven't used before. But I think magnesium is very important, because with magnesium, that helps you to heal. And I take magnesium.
Magnesium in your bath, mate. In the bath.
Yes. But not mate, the crap from Holland and Barrett or Boots. This crap.
Yeah, no, you got to probably get it from somewhere better than that, haven't you?
There's I mean, the stuff I get from Miles is a bit more expensive, but it's good quality.
Yeah, but you get what you pay for, don't you? Got anything?
But vitamin C, we need that because we can't produce it ourselves. Now we got here. What is it? What else we got here? Chuck Norris fought Bruce in Return of the Dragon.
Yeah, I thought you had.
Colosseum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you had.
That's it. And poor old, not old, but it's just laying flat and deep breathing in and holding it helps expand lungs. As soon as you feel a bit wheeze, do this and it clears it. Can I actually ask, and I don't want to be personal, has your missus had any form of trauma in her life?
Oh, yes.
Most people have asthma or OPD have had trauma in their life.
Yeah, Jess had a fair share of trauma, mate.
Yes,
more than her fair.
It comes out in nerves.
We both have, mate. That's part of the reason I think that probably drew us to each other. Is that we both had tricky times at times. So
that's what strengthens your character.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to try and but that strengthens
no, not at all. It's what it is. Mate, I've told you this before, and I think I've shared this on here before. We've been together on the 21st of June. That will be the anniversary of our first ever date. It will be 10 years this year that we've been together. And we have laughed every single day, and we will laugh every single day. We've got this ongoing thing at the moment. When we go to bed, we've got 3 dogs that come up to bed with us, and sometimes 2 Bengal cats as well, so it can get a little bit crowded. And just a standard double bed, no king size or anything like that, tiny little bedroom. And 2 of the dogs now are getting old. So we've got Gizmo, who'll be 12 in February, and Wiz, who'll be 15 in February. And they're struggling with all kinds of things now. They're not as suffering. I'm not that kind of person. If my dogs were suffering, I would do the right thing. I never keep an animal let it suffer. But they're just getting old, and they get a bit confused, and they're a bit doddery. And me getting in, because Jess normally go up half an hour or so before me. When I go up now, it can be a half-hour routine just to get me into the bed. And I mean, this is like at midnight when we both just want to get to sleep. But do you know what, mate? We're pissing ourselves with laughter while it's happening.
Brilliant. That's what we need. I'll tell you what we need to laugh at. Klaus Anal Schwab and people like that. We should all stand and just laugh our heads off at them. They're loony tunes.
But the point is, mate, I think that is, that is a key element in any relationship. I think if you can find someone who can make you laugh, and you can, see the world together enough see it similar enough that you can bounce along together and help row your boat together, then that is a lovely thing, mate.
True love. That is beautiful. That really is fantastic.
We've both been through our fair share of crap to get where we are. It would have been lovely if we'd have met 10 years earlier. We could have had kids, but that wasn't our journey, mate. But I'm grateful, mate. I'm just grateful, you know.
Yeah,
that's my soppy rant over.
Oh, it's nice though. And a question for the old Chris. Oh, that must be you. Are you Aquarius? And no, I'm full of bullshit. I'm Taurus.
Are you?
Taurus the bull.
Do you remember when Moo was trying to guess our star signs at Christmas? That was hilarious, mate. That is like that's podcast gold. That is, if you haven't seen it. Moo just sitting there going, and she literally went through the whole zodiac with each of us.
Yeah.
She got the one we were. I put her out of her misery, mate. I was like, I'll let her have 2 or 3 guesses. I was like, I'll put you out of your misery.
You're June, aren't you? Your
Gemini, mate, and that's never a truer word spoken. There's
Hang on, Gemini. My granddad was Gemini, so you must be early June.
15th.
15th, because I was actually born. The anniversary. I wasn't born that time, but I was born on the anniversary, the night of the long nights, on the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I always forget that the 4th of May is like Night of the Long Knives. I remember that it's the Star Wars Day, but I always forget the connotation with old Mr. H and his. Well, it wasn't him. Well, yeah, it was him, wasn't it?
That's right. Yes, he did out.
Did he arrest Rom? Did he go and arrest Ernst Rom? Was that him, or was that?
That's it. I think I'm not sure, but he shot him. But I know that he.
I think he definitely was there, weren't he, when Rom was picked up? Well, I say definitely was there. Who fricking knows?
I weren't there, so you know.
No,
I wasn't
there. I wasn't there, so who knows who was there?
That's it. So you never know. Sort of, he could have been. Now it says here, what is it? Cat Holly says, if I can find her. Chris the Gardener, don't worry, I am probably at my peak now and knocking on a bit.
Bless you.
So that's it. And I guess now, what's your Chinese horoscope, Chris? Because I'm a monkey.
I don't know. I might be a rat. I'm not sure. I think I might be a rat. I can't remember, mate.
Because you notice I'm often scratching, and I sort of preening people. You have a girl. Perhaps that's why I haven't kept a girlfriend, because I like preening.
Constantly eating bananas as well.
Eating bananas. That's it. Yes. Yeah. What else is it? Oh yeah, I like one's tea. So because monkeys advertise tea.
Mate, the most monkey-like thing you do is when you crap in your hand and throw it at the politicians when they come round.
That's it. That's it. Wouldn't I love to do that?
Might be the way to deal with them in the future. We've already got leaflets coming through our door, mate. So I guess there might be some local. Yeah, I think we might have some local elections around here, but we had a Lib Dem one the other day. Unfortunately, I missed him when he came round with his leaflet, which was I would have loved to half an hour with a Liberal Democrat, mate. That would have been fun.
2 good questions to give them. Ask them. So, may I ask you a question? Yes. Do you believe we live in a democracy? So, how can you have a democracy when you got usury? So, what is your party going to do to abolish usury? Oh, goodbye. Off they go.
Yeah, I'd rather torment them for a little bit first. I don't want to get rid of them straight away. I had a blazing row with Jo Russ, the Labour councillor, and she'll be the candidate at the general election for Labour out here. But I had a blazing row with her and me and Jess, in Jess's mum's front garden. I mean, I'm not a fan of Corbyn's at all, but it was during the time when they were all accusing Corbyn of being antiseptic and all that nonsense. And he pissed me off, because if he had any balls, he'd have stood up for himself. So again, Corbyn, mate, saw it right in the off. Hopium. A complete hopium. Didn't believe that he was going to be anything spectacular at all, but a lot of people did.
He's the Joker in the pack.
Mate, he's got no balls. Any respect I had for the man, I lost during that time, because I just took it, just rolled with it all. And I was like, mate, I always thought you had a bit of integrity, but maybe.
But they don't even come around where I live. You're lucky they come around. They don't come around the doors around. You don't see a politician for ages. Local elections, they don't bother. Maybe the national ones they might. They might.
We're rural, mate, and there's a lot of old people in this village, and old people still vote.
Yes, that's interesting. I tell you what, we could. I'm wondering whether Fock Hall could put a candidate up, even though it's a separate country, you see. And I'm wondering whether we could put this fella up, Avin.
I think you put Avin.
You say I'm for Avin. Inferno, you know.
Mate, I think you should just run a campaign with Avin, but not actually, you know, stand, if you know what I mean. Just put Avin's name out there and see if
put vote Avin a crap. You put the bottom.
You love it, don't you? You found something that's made you chuckle, and you're going to milk it as much as you can, aren't you, tonight?
There's something about toilet humour, because my mother told me that, and this is supposed to be true. She said, "When it's about you with toilet humour," she said, "when you were born, she actually accidentally eased herself at the same time, and I came out, went straight into a pot of crap."
Nice.
And she reckons that might have done something to my brain. So the first view of the world I had was shit.
Nice. Yeah, mate, something affected you along the way. I'm not sure what it was, whether it was that or...
Oh, I don't know what it was. I think adversity makes us all what we are.
And there's nothing wrong with quirky and different, mate. I've grown up my whole life around quirky and different. My mum always taught me to just be what you want to be, do no harm, help others, and be what you want to be. I'll tell you a little bit, mate, about the measure of me when I was a young man. This is my mum. This has nothing to do with me, mate. And this is before I was corrupted by drink and drugs as well. But when I was 7, 8 years old, me and my best friend at the time, a chap called Jonathan, Joffy, used to walk to school together, and we used to pass this old man every morning, and he'd obviously got some form of curvature of the spine or something like that. And he used to walk his dog, and you could see this guy. It was just taking his dog for a walk was obviously a massive thing for this chap and a struggle. We used to say hello to him every morning on our way into school. And one day on the way into school, we passed this old boy. And between passing him and getting to the school, we decided that we were going to have a garden fete that weekend to raise money for the Spastic Society. And this is when we were 7 years old, mate. And we announced it all in school at the assembly. And then me and Joffy come home at 3 o'clock that night and told both of our mums that we were having a garden fete the next day, and that it had been announced at school. My mum was up till 3 in the morning making bunting out of carrier bags.
Lovely.
But we raised £88 for the local Spastic Society, and my mum still has the newspaper cutting, mate, that she kept.
Oh, nice. But that's what children should be doing.
But that wasn't me, mate. That's my mum. My mum is what made me what I am now. And I went off track for 20 years, mate. So I've not.
You had an education for 20 years. You had a character building education.
I don't regret it. It wasn't always. I wouldn't change it now because it's got me where I am. But I wasted a lot of fucking time, mate. I really did. And I caused a lot of people misery. My poor mum, the things I put my mum through in some of them times, my family, people that I love dearly. Mate, but it's not good. My point is that I wish I could have got here another way, perhaps, rather than putting people through the things that I don't give a shit about myself in terms of I'm not bothered about the things I went through. That's by the by. What bothers me is the things I put other people through, mate. That's my only regret.
That's part of their journey as well, because when you think about it, there's lots of things that I regret. I mean, we're not perfect people, and as I said, a calm sea never made a good captain.
I know, mate, but things like my poor mum, the day that she buried her dad, the hearse got to the top of the road before I come running around the corner, mate, to jump in the back, dressed looking like shit, been on a 3-day speed binge. Things like that, mate. Just wish that hadn't happened. That's not, that's what my mum remembers about the day that she buried her dad, and that's not cool.
We can't put time back.
No, and it's not like there's any
character building. You know,
my mum
again,
doesn't hold it against me, mate, but I hate myself for it. I hate myself for it.
No.
Things like that. Just no, but they're things that I can't.
At least
undo,
you've got
mate.
the sensitivity, though, to have the feelings for other people.
I'm an empath.
Because if you didn't have that sensitivity, you wouldn't be the person that you are.
No, I know, but I can feel what my mum would have felt that day, and I just can't imagine how disappointing that must have been for her. You know, the one day that I really needed to pull it out the bag and I couldn't. And they're the things that I regret. But I don't regret, like I say, because it all took me here. So and here's pretty good, mate, and it's going to get better. So
that's right. That's the thing. Always optimistic.
Absolutely,
that's
mate.
Because you found the love of your life, which is something like finding a pot of gold under the rainbow. A lot of us haven't.
And we're blessed. We're blessed. We've got 4 beautiful dogs. You know, we've got our lovely home. And yeah, you know, realistically, mate, life is good. So
that's the thing. I mean, when you think that some poor sod's waking up somewhere in the world that don't know whether they're going to eat that day and things like that, at least we've got food on the table.
Yeah, got food in my belly, mate, and lots of seeds to put in the next few months, and yeah.
And also, we've got Klaus Schwab that we can never piss ourselves laughing at. So that's.
And ignore what. Did you notice as well? Sorry, just before you get Pan's comment, did you notice that their theme for Davos this year is rebuilding trust?
Well, Pandora.
Really?
Now, Pandora says the body's cells require a perfected balance of 12 mineral salts for perfected cellular respiration and ease, not dizzy. I won't say too much on that. All in that film stroke book. And then we go on, and it says here the 12 salts are matching to the zodiac, as above, so below. There are 12 cranial nerves, disciples, and 12 bodily organ systems. So it makes sense.
A lot of what you say does, Pan. The 12. There's something in that number, isn't there? There's a lot of 12s.
Yes.
Yeah. That's something. That's food for thought, Pan. That's something. I mean, yeah. You know, that all makes sense.
That's and it says and a laugh, and it's true. Ancient Ruby says a laugh a day keeps the doc away.
I think so, Ruby.
Well, we've got to laugh. I can't. I find I can't stand people that haven't got a sense of humour.
Nah, no good to me, mate. If you can't laugh at yourself, especially, I like self-deprecation, mate. For me, that's the best form of humour, when you can take the piss out yourself.
Oh,
I agree, Louise.
It's also healing. And do you know something? I've been absolutely in pain with laughter. That's the best pain to have.
Oh God, yeah.
Pain of laughter.
Well, this is the thing. I sometimes nearly kill Jess because we'll start laughing about something and then she can't breathe.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but she wouldn't have it any other way, mate. You know, because you've had that moment of intense, you know, hysteria, which is like Louise says, like Ruby says, like probably most people on here would say, it really is probably one of the best medicines, mate.
It is. And also, we got a question here. Chris, is Jess a Gemini too?
No, she's not. She is. She is. Oh, is she? I should know. Her birthday is the oh Christ, 19th of March. I had to think about that. That's not good. It's my wedding anniversary, mate. In my wedding anniversary. Chris, my wedding anniversary is in 6 days' time. Don't let me forget that.
Hang on, I'm just trying to think what that is. It's March. I know Aries becomes before May, so that's April. So it's the one before Aries.
I don't know. I'm ignorant, mate. I don't know any of them.
Yes,
but luckily I can remember a birthday still. That's the important thing.
Yes. Anyway, we've come up to time. Well over time.
It again, mate. Well over it again. I don't think you've ever finished at 10 when you've had me on, mate.
Yeah. Well, if you enjoy it, why not?
Mate, we've still got 35.
That's right.
Watching. You guys you're suckers for punishment, you lot are. You really
Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for joining us tonight.
Bless
and
you.
We had an ad hoc show. I didn't even go on. I didn't even cover. I was going to cover the Kozyrev mirrors. And that is where
I think you've done all right, mate. You got through 2 of the chosen 4 subjects that we discussed.
Yeah.
And mate, to be fair, for an ad hoc, and great interaction again from people in the chat, mate. I love that. The fact that you get so much,
chat room, and I'm hoping the radio show to have a chat room in that as well. So
you need to, mate. I think.
Yes. Yeah. And so we're because the Monday show will continue on. Don't get me wrong, but so I'm going to have a video. Same Monday show as normal, but then have a radio show additionally, probably be Wednesday or Thursday. I don't quite know yet, but this is all being sort of the planning stage. And but I'm glad to make that breakthrough today. And as I say, thank you very much, Chris, for joining me ad hoc as well at the last moment. Thank you everybody for joining us in chat.
Yeah, thanks everyone in chat. Thank you for keeping us company.
YouTube permitting. Now, if ever they ban me or anything like that, please look on my Telegram channel or on my Facebook one on Fockham Hall, which tells you, what's going on. So you'll be able to know what's going on if you look at those channels. But I think we're okay tonight. I don't think that we set the klaxons off. And whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh. And good night. Was it good night from him? No, good night from me and good night from him or something like that, wasn't it?
Something like that. I'll say cheerio.
Night, everybody.
All right.
Thank you very much.